In this video, I'm going to go over how to dropship on Amazon step by step. Hey everyone, my name is Noah and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to go over everything that you need to know in order to run a successful dropshipping business on Amazon in 2021. We're going to be covering how to set up your account, how to go ahead and find suppliers, product research, and everything else in between. We're even going to touch a bit on FBA as well as hiring virtual assistants. The first thing that you need to do in order to build a dropshipping business on Amazon is to go ahead and smash the like button. So in all seriousness, it really does help out with the video. So if you can go ahead and smash the like button in return for this video, then with everything out of the way, sit back, relax, grab a notepad, and let's begin. First, let's go over an overview of what we will discuss. This is going to be a complete course from A to Z on how to dropship on Amazon in 2021. I had a video prior that I filmed in 2020, and this is going to be an updated version of that video showing you everything that's changed with the platform and everything that you need to know right now in order to build a business dropshipping on Amazon. I recommend watching it at your own pace. We're going to be covering a lot of information inside of this video, so take notes, pause during the video, and really learn at your own pace. There will be timestamps down below for your convenience. Everything that we're going to be covering is on screen right now, so everything is more or less in order of when you need to set it up. Before we begin, I will try to cover everything I can that I feel is crucial to your success for building a dropshipping business on Amazon. However, it is pretty hard to condense an entire business model into 1 hour. So if you do have any questions or you have something that you want to ask, be sure to go ahead and leave a comment underneath this video. I'll do my best to get back to you. Or you can reach out to me on Instagram, which is at Noah Mincis. Also, be sure to go ahead and join the Facebook group. The link for that is down below. The first thing that you need to do in order to start selling on Amazon is you need to create an Amazon account. What you're going to do is you're going to go to Google and you're going to search sell on Amazon. You're going to skip the ads and you're going to come down here to where it says sell.amazon.com. It's going to say sell on Amazon, build your e-commerce business. So you're going to click that link and it's going to take you up to the page where you can sign up and begin the application for an Amazon account. There are two types of Amazon accounts that you can sign up for. There is the individual account, which is free. And then there's the pro account, which is $40 a month. The individual account is free, but like I said, it does have limitations. This is why I highly recommend starting out with the pro account if you are serious about building a business on Amazon. With the pro account, you're going to be eligible for the buy box, and you can also do FBA if that is a route that you want to take for your business. So if you want to scale your business quickly and you want to get off on the right foot, then I do recommend starting out with the pro account. In order to set up your account, you're going to need a credit or a debit card, a US bank account, and you're also going to need an EIN. I have another tutorial on my channel that shows how to get an EIN. You can get it from the IRS's website. The EIN will be crucial for two parts. Number one, you will need it for setting up your Amazon account, but you will also need it when you are going to get a seller's permit. If you're not sure what that is, we will be discussing it in a later slide in this video. Next, for the application, you're just going to need your address, your information like your name, your phone number, etc. And then at the end of the application, Amazon might request some additional information from you in order to verify your identity. So they might ask for a driver's license, they might ask for a bank statement. And recently, Amazon has been doing person-to-person calls. So they've been doing video calls with applicants just to ensure that they are who they say they are. I will leave a step-by-step tutorial if you want to see that for the application process. It's not as complicated as it sounds. You're just going to click sign up, create an email and a password, and then you're going to go ahead and just fill in the information and Amazon will walk you through it. This video is primarily going to show you how to do wholesale dropshipping on Amazon. Dropshipping is allowed on Amazon, but the only form of it that is permitted is when you are working with wholesale suppliers. In order to work with wholesale suppliers, you're going to need what is called a resale certificate, or it's also called a seller's permit. As a required disclaimer, I am not a CPA, so please consult a professional about business entities and taxes. This is just my experience and this is not legal advice. I'm just a dude with helpful videos on YouTube. So what is a resale certificate / a seller's permit? It's also called a reseller's license. So this document allows you to buy items for the purpose of reselling, so you don't have to pay taxes on the items that you are planning to resell to others. As an example, let's say I wanted to buy this remote from a wholesale supplier. So if I'm going to be buying it from them, I don't want to have to pay sales tax because that's going to add to my cost. So by getting this document, I can buy this item tax-free and then I can resell it to someone else. Now, because I am signing up for a seller's permit in my state, then I am going to be required to collect sales tax in certain states. It does depend on where you live. Some states do not have sales tax, but now I am going to be required to collect sales tax for customers who are buying items from me. So for me, I live in New Jersey. I am registered in New Jersey to collect sales tax, and I'm also able to buy items tax-free that I am planning on reselling. So for me, for this example, I would buy this remote, and if I was selling it to someone who lived in New Jersey, I would be required to collect and then remit that sales tax to the state of New Jersey. It's really crucial that you understand that you register with your state and are responsible for remitting the sales tax to your state. This way, there isn't double taxation on the product. Now, this video is not going to cover how to apply for a resale certificate in every state. It would take too long, and plus I don't know how to do it for every state. Instead, I will link underneath this video 2 really helpful articles that will go over how you can do it, as well as it will also walk you through for each state. So the first one is going to be a blog by TaxJar. What you need to do is when you come to this article, I would highly recommend reading it. It would tell you everything that you need to know, and then it will have a link to all of the different states. So for me, because I live in New Jersey, I would click here, and then it would bring me up to the New Jersey specific article. I will also link an article by 888 Lots. It goes over more or less the same information, and it also just explains what you need to know. And again, you can view it for each state. Now, I mentioned that you are responsible for collecting and remitting sales tax. However, Amazon does collect and they remit for you in certain states. So Amazon already collects and remits in the state of New Jersey. So when I sell an item on Amazon and the customer's in New Jersey, Amazon already collects it and remits it for me. Currently, these are the states where Amazon collects. So as you can see, this is updated as of 2020. If you're watching this video in a later date, highly recommend looking at the updated list for this. As you can see, they almost collect in all states. Some states, they don't collect sales tax. So Oregon does not have sales tax. Delaware does not have sales tax. And then you have Florida, you have Kansas, and other states where, as you can see, Amazon only collects sales tax on direct sales. So you need to really check if you're in one of these states, what you should be doing in terms of collecting it and remitting it to your state. So lastly, just to recap, you're going to need an Amazon account, business, you're going to need an EIN, you're going to need a business bank account, and that should more or less cover everything that you need up until this point, as well as you're also going to need a resale certificate for your business if that does apply to you in the state that you are in, where you're based, or if you actually qualify for it in certain states. The next subject that we're going to be talking about is finding a supplier for your business. So now that you have an account and that you have a resale certificate, you can start finding wholesale suppliers to work with. I usually only work with wholesale companies in the US. Now I do work with some that are international suppliers, but they must be able to ship to the US within 3 to 5 days. I have some suppliers that are in Canada. I have one supplier who is in Europe. However, all of those suppliers can ship to my US customers within a quick and reasonable amount of time because Amazon requires that you have good shipping times. I'm going to show you 3 different ways that you can find suppliers for your business. These are the techniques that have brought me the most success. So there are a bunch of different ways that you can find suppliers. These are 3 of the most common, as well as 3 of the most fruitful in terms of the amount of time you put in and the amount of suppliers that you are going to get out of it. We will also cover what to look for and how to analyze a supplier in order to know if they are going to be good. Next, let's talk about the software that I will be using during this video. I will be using these softwares for various purposes, for product research, or for just looking at suppliers, making sure they're a good supplier. So these are a list of all the suppliers I will be using. The first one is going to be called Keepa. There is a free version as well as there also is a paid version. There is DS Amazon Quick View. This is a free software. There is Jungle Scout, which is paid. There's Ace and Zen, which is paid. And then lastly, there's Scan Unlimited, which you can use free. They do have a trial, as well as there is also a paid version. A link to all of these softwares will be underneath this video, and some of them are affiliate links. The first method that we will be covering for finding suppliers is Google. Google will be your best friend in this business. That's going to be for finding suppliers, researching products, looking up competitors. There are so many use cases for using Google. For this method, simply put, we're going to be searching Google for a specific niche with keywords such as wholesaler, distributor, wholesale supplier, and then you can add drop shipping after that. You don't need to add drop shipping. If you want to specifically find drop shipping suppliers, I'm going to be showing you another way to specify that in your search. So here's an example of a search that I would use. So I would use home decor, and that's going to be the niche. And then I would add wholesale. That's going to be the keyword specifying that I'm looking for home decor wholesale suppliers. And then after that, you can add drop shipping. So it would be home decor wholesale dropshipper or home decor wholesale dropship supplier. It doesn't need to roll off the tongue that well. It just needs to be a cohesive search term that Google can then go ahead and find good search results to match for what you are searching. Bottom line, feel free to experiment and see what results you get. I don't do it perfectly. Other people don't do it perfectly. It's not an exact science. It's just going ahead and researching it. And actually with practice, you're going to get better at specifying what you want. And then Google is only going to show you what they think your search results are looking for. Some examples for other search terms I would search are home decor wholesale supplier. It's a pretty basic one. Toys and games wholesale distributor, food and grocery dropship distributor. So you'll see I'm just mixing up the keywords and then I'm going to see what Google is going to show me. Let's go ahead and put it into practice. When I'm at Google, I'm going to specify my niche. So let's say I want to start out with home decor and then I'm going to put home decor. You'll see I've already searched up a couple of these. So let's say I'm going to put home decor distributor. It's a pretty basic search. Let's see what we get from Google. First rule of law is always avoid the ads. 99% of the time, the ads are just going to be from different lists. They're going to be from different softwares or Chinese suppliers. 99% of the time, they're not worth your time. So the information displayed inside these different areas is going to allow us to infer if it's a good wholesale supplier. So let's take a look at fair.com. Taking a look at the title, it says buy wholesale home decor, which sounds good. And then in the metadata, it says shop wholesale home decor for your store, stock up on brands that love with free returns and net 60 terms. Then in the tags, it says home accents, home fragrances, outdoor decor. So based off of that, it sounds like a good result. Let's go ahead and open it up in a new tab. Let's take a look at another one. CTW Home Collection, resource for wholesale farmhouse decor, gifts and home accessories, vintage inspired home accessories, farmhouse, etc., independent retailers. And let's go ahead and take a look. Now, as you can see, I've already visited this. So let's just go ahead and take a look at it for demonstrational purposes. I'm going to skip China brands. And the reason for that is because inside of the title, it says top 12 cheap home decor wholesale distributors. So this is just a list. Now, if I had more time and if it was on my free time, I would go ahead and take a look at it just to see what suppliers they recommend. But for brevity's sake, I'm going to leave that alone. Next, we have Creative Co-op Wholesale Home Decor. Creative Co-op is a home, seasonal, and decor and fashion accessories wholesaler. Sounds promising. Let's go ahead and open it up and let's take a look at the three results that we just opened. The first one is fair.com. Whenever I go to a new website, I want to understand what they are. So right now I see a bunch of products and I want to go ahead and take a look at what is fair.com. So I'm going to go to About Us. So Fair was founded in 2017 on the belief that in the future retail is local. Our mission is to help independent entrepreneurs chase their dreams. So this is basically, from what it sounds like, is just a market. So this is not an actual wholesaler. Instead, this is a website where if I was a wholesaler, I can go ahead and list my products on Fair, and then other retailers can shop on here and buy my items. So inherently, this is not a bad place to look for suppliers. However, as a retailer, I like to go directly to the source. Now you can find wholesalers on Fair and try and contact them. But for this video, what I like to do is I like to find wholesale suppliers that I can work with directly. So let's take the next one as an example. Here we have CTW Home Collection. Let's go ahead and just quickly take a look at their website. I'm looking for products. I'm looking to see what they sell. Now, if this was a distributor, they would show you the brand. But since this is more of a brand itself, they only show you their own items. Again, if it was a distributor, they would just tell you what brands they sold. So if it was a toys distributor, they would say they have Nerf, Disney, Mattel, etc. So when I come to a new wholesale supplier's website, you already know I'm going to go to the About Us, or I'm going to go to the frequently asked questions. So we have About Us, our history. Let's take a look at that. And let's read the footer. It says CTW Home Collection sells our products wholesale only. That's really good. We like to know that they are a legitimate wholesale supplier. We value our relationships with our retail partners. We only sell to businesses with a state resale certificate or a sales tax exemption certificate. So if you'll recall, in the earlier part of this video, we have already covered that document and you should already have it. Taking a look about them, we see that they've been in business for 40 years. They are a leader in the wholesale home decor market. This all sounds really good. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of their products, some of their policies, and whether or not they dropship. So coming down to the footer, we do see that they dropship, and I'm going to go ahead and open that up. So coming to their dropship page, it's going to show me all of their policies for their business. It says usually they have a minimum purchase order for $100, but that is waived if you are placing a dropship order. So it says in order to get a dropship account, first you need to create a wholesale account and then you need to apply for dropshipping. So we can go ahead and we can open that up so we can take a look at register to shop. And then also we just want to take a look at some of their policies. So we have terms and conditions, as well as we have shipping and returns. That is all crucial information that you want to take a look at. So from what it looks like, this looks to be a decent wholesale supplier. They have drop shipping. If you take a look at their shipping and returns, you can see all of their policies. The next thing that I do after taking a look at their policies is I'm just going to take a look at their products. This is the most important information right now. Obviously, we want to make sure that they have good shipping and return policies, but right now we're just looking to see, do they have items that sell? So I'm going to go to their shop. I'm going to just go to some random items, and I'm going to see if I can access a UPC code or if I can find an item identifier to search on Amazon. Additionally, what I can do is, because this is a brand, I can also just search up the brand on Amazon. So you'll see if I search up CTW Home Collection, it pops up. And again, that would be for any brand. That would be for the one even right here, Creative Co-op. I would just search that up on Amazon to find the products. So by searching up CTW Home Collection, we have found some items that they sell, and you'll see it says it in the title. Now, this is also really important. This is where the software that we went over earlier is going to come into play. So this software underneath is called DS Amazon Quick View. I have a link to it underneath this video. It's really important because what it does is it shows you crucial information. The number that it's displaying right now is called a sales rank. What this does on Amazon is it tells you where that item is ranking on Amazon. The higher the number, the less sales it's getting. The lower the number, the more sales it's getting. For example, we have an item right here with a sales rank of almost 6 million. This item is probably getting less than 12 sales a year. It's really not a great item. So on the left of that item, we have another item with a sales rank of 400,000. Now, 400,000 is not great. This is probably selling around 100 to maybe 200 units a year. If that's on the good end of the spectrum. But now you'll see that this tool quickly allows us to see this information so that we can gauge whether or not this brand has good products. Another thing that DS Amazon Quick View does is it shows you if there are any FBA sellers on the item. Right now, it's not popping up, but you'll see right here, this item, it says there are 3 FBA sellers. That's important because if we're going to be drop shipping, or even if we're looking to sell an item FBA, we want to know how many competitors are going to be on the listings, or how competitive is this brand going to be. So this is why this Chrome extension is super helpful. A couple of other things that we can do is we can take a look at the Keepa chart. So on the Keepa chart, we can quickly see the data. We can also take a look at the price history as well as the BSR chart, which again is just the sales rank. So taking a look at the Keepa chart, we can track the price history. We can go back to a year. And you can see a lot of the data that this item is mostly stable at around $160. And if we wanted to go and take more of an in-depth look at this item, we can actually click on the item and Amazon will open up the item page. On this page, you're going to notice that I'm going to be using 3 other tools. The first is going to be ASINZen, which is a calculator. It also shows me how many monthly sales. And the other tool that I'm going to be using is called Keepa. Keepa is just going to show me the price history as well as how many sellers and other information such as that. The last tool that I'm going to be using is going to be Jungle Scout. This is just going to be a sales estimator so I can see how many monthly sales this item is getting. So I see even though this item has a sales rank of 400,000, this item is doing around 0 estimated monthly sales. So this item is probably not even selling more than 20 times a year. And I can just confirm that by coming down to Keepa and I can track the sales rank. So every time this sales rank dips, that means it's another sale. So we see right here, the sales rank dipped. That means that it was in 1 sale. So 2, 3, 4. So it had about maybe 8 sales within the past 3 months. So this would not be a good product. Now, it would be really time consuming to go through each item and check it out, considering that CTW has over 1,000 products. However, by searching up the brand name, I can then go ahead and I can run Jungle Scout and I can scan the entire page. So this way I can check out around 40 to 50 items. And these are supposed to be supposedly the top items because I did search up the brand. So this is a good way to get a good snapshot to know if a brand is selling well. So taking a look, it's scanning some of the items. We see all the information for the products. So it's still scanning and it's going to show us the average monthly sales. It's also going to show us the daily sales. It's also going to show us some of the review rating, the price history, etc., etc. So let's take a look at some of the results. So taking a look at the Jungle Scout results, if we go through them, we see that most of the products have 0 monthly sales. We see this one right here has 42 monthly sales, has an average monthly revenue of around $2,000. This one, 113, and it has an average monthly revenue of around $4,000. Let's take a look at the number of sellers. So the seller type for that item is FBA, which means that people are actually sending the items into Amazon to sell it rather than doing it themselves, which we are looking to be FBM because we are looking to drop ship the item. So for the most part, it looks like a lot of these items don't sell. However, there are some items that do sell a lot a month. You'll see right here, this item is bringing in almost 300,000. However, this is not a CTW item. So this item right here is actually skewing a lot of these results. So I'm not going to even consider this item, and you can actually exit out and then it will adjust it. So on average, this brand for all of their products, it's doing around 29 sales a month. So it's probably not a great brand. However, what I want to do now is now that I've analyzed it, I am then going to take the brand's information so that I can store it and then I can quickly contact the brand that after doing more information, I can go back and apply for a wholesale account. Underneath this video, there will also be a link to a copy of my supplier list. Here is where you're just going to enter in all of the information. So you'll see on the bottom, it's sorted by brands, distributors, and then in the future, we're going to be looking at trade shows and other stuff. So this is where you're just going to record that information. So in brands, I'm just going to put the supplier's name. So CTW, home collection, and then I'm just going to put their website. So I'm just going to record that. And this way I have a database of all the suppliers I viewed. I can quickly come back to it. And now I also have the information. So if I want to contact them in the future, I can have their website, I can have their email, their phone number. So I'm just going to grab that information by going to the contact us, contact customer service, and I'm just going to record their email, their phone number, address, etc. So now that I have them as a potential supplier, I'm going to X out of them, and I'm just going to move on to the other one that we were taking a look at. So the other one that we saw was this one, Creative Co-op. So more or less following the same process. I come to their website. I want to make sure they are a wholesaler. I see that they're a brand because they don't have any other brands listed here. They just have their products shown. So I'm going to come to their About Us. Let's also look for any wholesale information, frequently asked questions. And I don't see anything that says wholesale, but we can go and click on register, see what needs to happen in order to create an account. So Creative Co-op is a global leader in wholesale home accessories. So that's good. That's what we're looking for. Let's take a look at the frequently asked questions. Do you sell directly to consumers? Let's take a look at that. Is wholesale to trade only? What is your minimum order? So they have a minimum order of $500. Let's take a look at if they drop ship. So going through their policies, I actually noticed that they say retailers cannot offer any Creative Co-op products on any third-party website, including but not limited to Amazon, eBay, Walmart.com. All websites and online marketplace stores will be checked by Creative Co-op. So this would not be a supplier that we can use on Amazon. Instead, this might be a supplier that we can use on our own website. Now, they don't dropship. Instead, I would probably just see if I can sell their products on my own website, see if I can use some third-party service to store the products or maybe store them myself. So that's personally what I would do. Now, personally, I would never throw away a supplier's information. It's really valuable to build that database. So same thing as before, whenever you come across a wholesale supplier, take their information and always include it inside of your list. This is going to be a list that you're just going to continuously build, and it's going to become more valuable the more suppliers that you include. Now you can do this for several different search terms. So I did home decor distributor, but let's say I wanted to do toys, and let's say I want to do toys and games wholesale supplier, and you can also do wholesale dropship. We can take a look at the results that come up for that. So taking a look, we see we have Fair, Tundra, and we have this one. So first rule, always avoid the ads. Second rule, never break the first rule. Taking a look at some of the suppliers that we see, we have wholesale and closeout toys and games. Shop here for our wholesale and closeout toy needs. We are the largest wholesale and closeout toy distributor in the Northeast. Let's take a look at that. Taking a look at the second result, wholesale toys and games products directory. So a directory is going to be a list of suppliers. I'm going to avoid that for now. I want to look for the direct supplier themselves. So here we have license to play, wholesale supplier, wholesale toy distributor. So I'm going to open that up. Next, we have wholesale toys and games in bulk supplier. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. And let's start with those three. But as you'll see, I have a lot of other suppliers listed right here. Empire Discount, Buy Closeout Toys Online. So there's a lot of other suppliers, and we can just continue looking at this list and adding them to our supplier database. So taking a look at the suppliers, I would follow the same process. I would go through their website, see what brands they offer. I would also go ahead and just take their information. Before applying to any of the suppliers, remember to always validate the supplier, go through their website, and as you find them, just include their information inside of your list. So since this is a distributor, their information would go underneath the distributor tab, so on and so forth for all the other suppliers that we found. This is going to be part 2 for method 1. So within Google, you can actually specify your results in order to get better results. So what I mean by this, in addition to using simple searches, such as just search terms and other long tail keywords that we were using, you can also add locations to find more results. So an example would be toys and games wholesale supplier Miami. You can also specify from the city, you can also do the state, and you can also do different regions. So since I live in New Jersey, I am going to find results tailored for New Jersey because Google is optimizing for a location. So I can search up toys and games wholesale distributors in Trenton, toys and games wholesale suppliers in New Jersey, and you're just going to get more results that way. Another way to narrow down the results is to use what are called Google search operators. These are specific characters or specific ways of going ahead and that you can include them in your search to emphasize or exclude what you want to search for. For example, when you put quotations around a word or a phrase, that means and it signals to Google that you are specifically looking for your results to contain that word, and the other results there or the other words are just filler words. So now my results must contain the word wholesale in each result, but any of the results contain the word supplier, toys, and games, but those are secondary. The word with the quotation marks around it is going to be primary and must be in every result. So with this search term, I'm signaling to Google that it must have the word wholesale. So as I scroll down, you'll see the word wholesale is highlighted because that was one of my search results, but every single one of my search results is going to have the word wholesale in it. If I wanted to specifically find dropship suppliers, I can put that in quotation marks as well. And a simple way that you can go ahead and access advanced search results is if you go to more, or you can go to settings right here. So settings, and you can click advanced search. That is going to show you some of the more advanced search parameters that Google has. So all of these words, and then any of these words, let's do the exact word or phrase. So it must include the word dropship, and excluding. So let's see, none of these words. I don't want any of the words software. I also don't want any of the words, and you can go ahead and you can build that list up. Once you're done, you can do advanced search, and it's going to just prop it right there. So you'll see, because I wanted the word dropship, it added quotation marks around there. And then because I did not want the word software, I now have a minus sign before that word to negate it. So now all of my results are going to have the word dropship in it. Find toys and games, dropship suppliers, dropified. So it says find toys and games. This means that they are not the direct source. So we have dropshippers, wholesale toys, and this is Wholesale Central, which again is just a list. Dropship toys, toy wholesale dropshipper. Let's take a look. That sounds like a direct source. So on and so forth. And I would just go through the results and see what I can find. Let's take a look at this one though. So Dropship Toys, wholesale dropship company. Dropship Toys specializes in dropshipping toys, games, sporting goods, and children's outdoor goods to the end consumer on behalf of internet retailers and home-based businesses. No membership fee, so it is free to join. Competitive wholesale pricing, fast fulfillment, inventory feed, self-service. Sounds all good. Let's go ahead and take a look. So we have their homepage. And I want to go ahead and I want to get a catalog to see what are their prices. So first, I want to just take a look at what brands they carry, and then I want to take a look at some of their products. Okay, so I don't see any products. So we have toys and games, and then we have right here, cat wheel loader. Let's take a look at that. See if we can find a UPC code or anything that we can search on Amazon. Our life will be unthinkable. Okay. Let's search this title. We're going to copy it and search it on Amazon to find the product. We're going to add it right there. And it says the retail price is $24.99, but it doesn't give us a wholesale price unless that is our price. So let's go ahead and take a look. So Amazon is still looking at it, but we're going to go ahead and take a look at the price to see if we can be profitable. So let's make sure this is the same item. So that looks to be the exact same one as this. However, this one is selling for $28.77, and it looks like our cost is $24.99. So based off of that, we would not be profitable on this. I would ask them just to clarify if the retail price is actually the wholesale price. If not, then I would want to find my wholesale pricing. So this is a company, again, you have to be careful because you want to make sure that they are legitimate suppliers. And we're going to be talking about ways that you can do that. But this was just a company. I would want to do my due diligence. I would want to go ahead and call them, ask them where their location is, check their location on Google Maps, look up the name and check the reviews, and make sure that if I am going to purchase from them, that they have good shipping times, good handling, as well as that I can make a profit on these items. The second method that we're going to be looking at in this video is utilizing trade shows. Trade shows are another great place to go ahead and meet and find potential suppliers for your business. This is where I find most of the suppliers for my business. A lot of the suppliers that I use for dropshipping, I have met at trade shows in person, or I found them by browsing trade show websites online. So a trade show is a convention, or it's an expo where you have a lot of vendors and suppliers. They're going to come to these conventions, they're going to showcase their products, and then you have a lot of retailers and a lot of buyers who are going to come to these expos to see and meet and just go ahead and browse the selection of the suppliers. So usually, most of the time this takes place in person. However, a lot of these expos and conventions will also have a list of the suppliers that are attending on their website. And this is what you can also do. So instead of attending in person and spending money on a plane ticket and on a hotel room, you can just go ahead and usually you can look at the list of suppliers online. There are two ways that you can find these trade show lists online. You can go ahead and you can search them up on Google, and you could also go ahead and you can browse trade show directory websites. We're going to be taking a look at both methods in a second. So for an example, on Google, if I just type in the words trade show, it's going to go ahead and it's going to recommend me different events that are happening within my area. So it knows that I'm near New York, and then you'll see there are a lot of trade show events happening in New York. So if I click on search more events, it's going to show me all of these events, and I can browse through these different conventions and see which ones sound interesting, see which ones sound like they're going to be a good fit for my business. So just taking a look, we have Light Fair. If I click on it, it's going to give me a little bit of a bio, home to the latest innovations in commercial and architecture lighting. So not really something or not an industry that I would sell. So I'm just going to keep on scrolling. I don't sell golf products. I'm not in education. Active Collective Trade Show doesn't really sound something for my business. Soul Commerce. Northeast Automotive. So if you sell car parts, or if you're in that industry or you're interested in that industry, you can click on that. And just scrolling down, you'll see there are a lot of different conventions for different industries. If you want to find a trade show for a specific industry, you can follow up the word trade show by the niche that you want to find. So I can do trade show, and then I can put home decor trade show. So let's try that and make sure you spell it right. So when I go ahead and I search it, Google is going to show me those results. So here I have a couple of home decor trade shows. So you'll see I have a website called 10 Times. Now 10 Times is not an actual trade show website. Instead, this is going to be a trade show calendar. So we're going to take a look at that in a second. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at some home decor trade show lists. So here we have NY Now, and we can open that up. We have Decor Wholesale trade shows, and we can open that up. So we already clicked on NY Now. We have Architectural Digest. Let's open that up. And you'll see this is also a list, top 99. So I'm avoiding the list right now. I just want to find direct lists or direct websites for the trade shows. We have Events I, that sounds like a list. So that was pretty much all lists. But if we go to the second page, then we can also keep on finding it. Another thing that you can do is you can put in specific cities. So a lot of trade shows happen in LA, a lot of them happen in Las Vegas, Chicago, New York, Miami. Those are pretty common cities. So you can also put in the city into the search result and see what comes up. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to keep on scrolling. So we have Las Vegas Market. That's another famous home decor trade show. And of course, same rule applies as when we were searching with suppliers. You want to read the title and you also want to read the metadata so you can identify if it's going to be a good result. And if worse comes to worse, you can just open it up in a new tab and you can take a look at what you opened. So when you come to the website, first just make sure that this is the official website for the trade show that you're looking for. So we clicked on NY Now. Let's just verify that they are an actual trade show and that they do home decor. So if we scroll to the bottom and we just take a look at their About Us, we click on that, it's going to bring up their bio really quickly. So if we see the bio, it says NY Now curates the most design-forward brands in the industry and identifies the trend centers for the future. So they go ahead and they explain all of the different brands and all of the different vendors that they usually have at their trade show. And if you scroll down, you can take a little bit more of a look at what they feature. So now after I've identified the trade show and I think that they're going to be a good fit, I think they're going to have a lot of vendors at their trade show that are going to be a good fit for my business, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try and find what's called an exhibitor list. I'm going to try and find a list of exhibitors that are attending. Sometimes you can access it on the website. Other times you actually have to log in. A lot of times it is free to create an account. So I would just go ahead and I would check. So let's see right here. We have market and we have search exhibitors. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click that. So what that brings up is it brings up a list of these different brands that are going to be exhibiting at NY Now. Now, what I would do normally is I would just go through one by one. If you have a virtual assistant, if you have an employee, if you have a software that can do this, then go ahead and you can also have that do it. So I'm going to do, let's try this supplier right here. I'm going to search them up on Google and then I'm going to see what I can get. So I would just go again, one by one. You can also try this one and I'm doing this at random, but let's see what results. So we have this, the website matches the brand name. Let's see what products they have, as well as let's see if they are a wholesaler and what they say on their website. So this brand is called Amos Pewter. And if we go and we have jewelry, ornaments, home decor, tableware, and it looks like a brand. This is not a distributor. We take a look at some of their products and we can go ahead and we can just see it. So what I would do now is I see a section that says wholesale. I'm going to click on that and I want to read the terms. I also want to see what they say. So taking a look at their wholesale program, it says they've been around since 1974 and they have established a reputation for excellence in design, craftsmanship, and customer service. All sounds great. Let's take a look at the wholesale application form and see what they require. The other step I would do is I would search their products up on Amazon, just search up the brand, see if they're selling, and again, just see how well they are selling. So this way I know that if I am able to sell this brand, that the products are actually going to make me money. After that, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to record their information and I'm going to put it inside of my brand spreadsheet. So this is a brand, I would put it in the brand tab. Going back to the other brand that we saw, we have it right here, Elizabetta Studio. So we're going to go ahead and make sure that matches, and that matches perfectly. We're going to go to their website. Same thing. We're just looking for a wholesale program. We're going to take a look at their products and let's see what we got. It says wholesale right here, wholesale registration. So let's take a look at that. You can also take a look at their products. Again, feel free to search up their brand on Amazon, search them up, look at their social medias on Facebook, just take a look at the brand, make sure everything is okay. Now we have many retailers have already partnered with this company to sell our unique handmade bracelets, etc., etc. So they go ahead and they list everything about their company. They have a wholesale form. So underneath that, they have a wholesale form. I would take a look at it before filling it out. I would call them up, ask them if they work with online retailers, ask them if I can sell their products on Amazon. I would also just try and find their policies. It's better to know everything before signing up because this way you know what you're getting yourself into and you know if it's worth your time. So if everything checks out, if I see interest in their products, I would also go ahead and I would add them to the brands tab on my spreadsheet. Now that I have found a couple of brands, you'll see these are some of the brands that NY Now highlights and you don't have to create an account. However, with a lot of trade shows, if you create an account, you can actually get access to more information and more directories. Creating an account for a lot of these different trade shows is free. Again, what you would want to do is you can go and you can click on exhibit or inquire, and they also have a digital market. So if you wanted to attend virtually, you can also go ahead and click that and you can take a look, create an account, etc. Another one that we found on Google was Las Vegas Market. Very similar thing, and this goes for most trade shows. try and find a list of exhibitors. If not, then you might have to go ahead and try logging in. Another way that you can find the exhibitor list is you can go back to Google and you can type in the name of the trade show. So that one was Las Vegas Market, and I can type in exhibitor list. So if I type in Las Vegas exhibitor list, I can go ahead and I can try and find it, and I can open up these different links and see if I can actually find the list for the exhibitors. That's just another trick that you can use. The last thing that we're going to be talking about for method 2 is using sites like Wholesale Central. There's a lot of different sites. These are going to be calendar sites where you can go and see the upcoming trade shows. So on Wholesale Central, if I click trade shows, I can then specify by the different market, as well as I can also specify by the state as well as the date. So here we have category. Let's say I wanted to look for automotive, and location. Let's say it didn't matter to me, and then the date doesn't matter at all. I can just press search and it's going to find all the upcoming automotive shows. So here we have only one match, which is Splash and the Car Wash show. And if we take a look at it, we can go ahead and see their website. And then from their website, we can also go ahead and hopefully see a list of the exhibitors and see other companies that we could potentially source from. The third method that we're going to be looking at is going to be building off of the past two. This is looking at competitors and seeing what items they are selling from which brands or which distributors. And then we're going to be looking at those brands and distributors ourselves and seeing if we can also start working with them. The reason I say this is going to be building off of the first two methods is because you do need to have some suppliers that you are already working with in order to use this. So let's go ahead and let's explain this and let's look at it in detail. So we already have two suppliers that we put in our list. What I want to do is I want to go back to their suppliers' websites, and I'm going to open that up. And then from there, I am going to search up their products, and I'm going to find people who are already selling those products on Amazon. Let me go ahead and explain. So if I go to CTW Home Collection, let's go and open up Amazon in another tab. And then from there, we are going to go ahead and we're going to take a product. So let's just take one that they have on their front page. We're going to grab the UPC code, which is the item identifier for this item. We're then going to put that into Amazon. Amazon is going to pull it up. And from there, we can see all of the names of the sellers that are selling this on Amazon. So let's demonstrate that right here. I'm going to take the item identifier. I'm going to paste in the UPC code. And then Amazon is going to find that item. It's going to find the listing that matches that UPC code. Here we have that listing. And we see it says more buying choices from 17 used and new offers, which means 17 different sellers are offering their product on this listing. So 17 people have this exact item. So from the product page, I'm going to scroll down to where it says new and used offers. I'm going to open that up. It's going to pop out on the side. From there, I can take a look at all of the sellers who are selling it. So we see that Amazon is selling it. Avoid Amazon and also avoid sellers with a lot of feedback. So this one has 43. That's fine. We can open that up in another tab. Here we see one with around 13,000. This is a bigger seller, but still not that bad. But if you see someone with like 50,000 or 100,000 plus feedback, typically I would avoid that because they're really large sellers and they might have deals with some suppliers, or they might be buying the items in bulk and it's going to be hard to compete with them. Additionally, I usually avoid anyone who's using FBA. So that means you'll see right here, it says sold by this seller and ships from this seller. So I usually avoid that. And I look for people who are doing merchant fulfilled, which means we have a perfect example right here. So this person has 106 ratings. They're probably doing a decent amount of sales, but they're not a big seller by any means. And then they are shipping it themselves as well as they are also selling it. So this means that it's fulfilled by a merchant. And we know that this item is from a supplier that drop ships. So that probably means that this seller is drop shipping that item. So let's go ahead and take a look at that seller. Just make sure that we're looking at the right one. We're looking for DB Company, which is right here. So Amazon has their profile pulled up. We see that they are Lancaster Road in Florida. And from there, we can go ahead and take a look at their products by clicking either here on their storefront or by clicking on their products tab. So once we click on the products tab, it's going to open up. Now I see that this seller, if we go back, has not gotten any reviews in the past 90 days. So this either means that they are scaling down, or they might be still selling, but they're just not getting a lot of reviews. However, now that I see that, it means that they are not currently getting a lot of reviews. They're not currently selling a lot. So might be something to take into account. However, I am still going to look at them since they do have products listed. And right away, the one thing I want to do is on the left-hand side, Amazon is going to list the brands that this seller is selling. Here I see CTW, which is the one that we just came from. We already know it, so I'm going to avoid that. And then we have Maybelline New York. I already know what that brand is, but let's go ahead and take a look. So this person is selling Maybelline, and they only have one product from them. So this is a really large brand, which either means that this person did retail arbitrage, or they bought it from another wholesaler or something else. They're not drop shipping this from any distributor or from any wholesaler. So I'm going to go back and I want to find another seller with a lot of products. So here we have a seller selling another one of CTW's products. I clicked on their store and I went right into their products. And here we can see they are selling a lot of different brands. Now, most of the brands here are just variations of CTW. You see you have CTW, you have Colonial Tinworks, Colonial Tinworks again. Colonial Tinworks just stands for CTW, so these are the same brands. But we also see some other variations. Here we see a brand called Hearthside Collection. Here we have one called Primitives by Kathy, Black. Now, unknown just means that no one put in the brand on Amazon. We have York Wall Coverings. We have CWI Gifts. We have BCD, Buckware, PBK. So we have a lot of different brands. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to highlight these brands. I'm going to search them on Google, and I want to see if I can find these brands' websites on Google. And I'm going to see if they have a wholesale program. So we're going to open that up, and we can also check out the Hearthside Collection. And then from there, we just found this brand, which was Primitive by Kathy, which was another brand that this seller is selling. So when we get to their website, same thing. I'm just going to be checking their website. I'm going to be looking at everything, making sure I'm recording the phone number, the email, all of that. I'm going to be checking their products on Amazon. So a simple way I can do that, just click on the brand name. Now, when you click on the brand name and you actually click on the listing from within the seller's store, it's only going to show that seller. So what we want to do is with DS Amazon Quick View, we can actually copy the ASIN really quickly. And we can go ahead and we can just go back to Amazon.com. We can actually open that in a new tab. And then from there, we can just search up the ASIN, or we can also search up the brand's name. So let's say I just wanted to search up the brand's name. And we can search up by, we have Kathy. So we're just going to search it up. And when we search it up, so now that we pulled up their products, let's just quickly take a look. We see one of them is at 33,000, 12,000, 44,000. So these listings are actually doing really well. So it looks like this brand actually has a lot of great selling listings, and we can just use Jungle Scout to verify that data. So according to Jungle Scout, some of these listings are doing over $20,000 a month, and there's a decent amount of listings that are doing over $5,000 a month. So I, as a seller, am definitely interested in looking more into these products and seeing how can I go ahead and sell them. So what I want to do is I want to first confirm that this is a wholesaler. So I'm going to look for a wholesale tab either on the header or the footer. I don't see anything that says wholesale. Another thing I can do is I can look at the frequently asked questions or the about us. Also, a good indicator of a wholesaler is you can actually check their products. And usually on a wholesaler's website, a lot of times you're not going to be able to see the pricing because you need to log in order to see the pricing on a wholesale website. So when I do come to the product page, I see that it says, please log in to view pricing, which is a good indicator that this is a wholesaler's website. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to contact them. I'm going to record their information. I'm going to ask them if they are a wholesaler, how can I create a wholesale account, etc., etc. So again, now that I have verified that their products sell well on Amazon, they look okay, I'm interested, I am then going to record their information inside of my database. So that's going to conclude method 3 for how to find suppliers. Now, along the way, when I'm researching suppliers, I usually validate my suppliers at 2 points just to make sure that they are legitimate wholesalers and that their products sell well. The first is when I'm researching suppliers, whether it's a brand or a distributor, I usually take a look at their website. I take a look at their location on Google Maps. I take a look, make sure they have a phone number. Usually I like to make sure that they are located in the US. This way, I'm just checking that they are a legitimate supplier. Then if I'm interested, if their products seem to sell well, if they're a distributor and they have a lot of brands that sell well, I'm then going to add their information to my supplier list so I can contact them at a later date. After I have a decent amount of suppliers, I then go through my list again and I validate them again, and then I'm going to contact them. I'm going to ask them for their account application forms. I'm going to ask them how to create a wholesale account, as well as I'm also going to ask them for a list. Now, these are the things that I look for when I'm trying to validate a supplier. I make sure that I check on their website. I also make sure that their website looks good, that they have products displayed, or that they at least have brands that I'm interested in that are going to sell well. Because if you're going to be working with a supplier, they need to have products that you can make money with. Make sure that there is a contact form. Make sure that there is some way of reaching out to them, either an email, a phone number, anything like that. You can also view their location on Google Maps. Make sure that it is a legitimate business address. If you view it on Google Maps and it's just some residential address, that's usually not a great sign. Make sure you check their products on Amazon, check the reviews, check how many sellers are selling on it, check the frequently asked questions, look at their policies, etc., etc. And lastly, if you have any questions, you can always call the supplier. You can ask them questions. Make sure that you talk to them on the phone. That's the best way to get a direct response. The next step is contacting suppliers. So in your supplier database, this is why we record all the information. You don't have to go back to the website, find the phone number again, find the email. It's all inside of your Google spreadsheet. So it's easily accessed. Go ahead, get the information, contact their supplier. So this is the message that I send them. So this is the message I send to potential suppliers. This is just a regular template. Feel free to go ahead and edit it. You can add things if you want. This is just a rough copy. So I would say hello. You can put their name in if you know their name. My name is, so for this example, my name is Noah from Noah's Furniture. I am interested in opening a wholesale account with you. Please let me know what information you would need from me and I will be sure to send it over. Now, if you have a resale certificate, I would attach it to the email. And you can also say, I have my resale certificate on hand if needed. Thank you. Then you can put your company name and then your website if you have one. And then that's it. I would just send that quick email, wait for a response. Additionally, if a supplier has a contact form on their website, you can also fill it out there. The next step is after you contact them, you want to create a wholesale account. Once you find a supplier, the next step is to sign up for a wholesale account with that supplier. For some suppliers, it's as easy as going on their website and registering for an account, as we saw with CTW. Some suppliers will have the wholesale application on the website and you'll need to download it, fill it out, and send it back. Additionally, they might ask you to fill out other forms. They might have you fill out a credit form. They might have you go ahead and fill out a lot of different things. So some of them, you can just fill it out in a PDF and send it electronically. Others I've had where they had me download it, print it out, and then I had to take a picture of it and send it back. So different suppliers are going to ask you for different things. The last common way to get a wholesale account is to just email or contact the company asking to register. So again, you're either going to see the information on the website. If you don't, be sure to go ahead and email them, ask them for it, and they'll usually email you an account application form to fill out. So for CTW, it's as simple as just clicking register to shop. You don't even really need to call them actually. It's pretty simple. And then you can go ahead and you would just fill out the information. So you would click create new account. And then from there, you would just go out and fill in the information. This is obviously one example. Like I said, it differs wildly depending on the supplier. So after this, we're going to take a look at a distributor. And for this, it's very simple. They just want your first name, last name, address, business, etc. Next, CTW asks for your business credentials. So they're just going to want your certificate number, which is your sales tax ID, which state it is from, and then you would upload a copy of it. After that, your login information. So this is pretty common and pretty simple when you're working with most manufacturers or pretty simple brands. However, if you're working with more exclusive brands, they might have you fill out a lot more information. I've had to do interviews with brands where they're going to call you. They're going to want to have a list of all of your sales channels. They're going to want just a lot of information. So do be prepared for that. So let's take a look at an application process for a common distributor. This is Southern Hobby. They sell toys and other products like that. So before you even begin the application process, they're first going to want to take a survey. So that's how conservative and that's how scrutinizing they are with their process. You're going to have to fill in all this information. You're going to have to select what products you want, etc. Tell them what type of business you are, fill in all this information, and then submit. And that's even before beginning the application. So after you press submit, they're going to contact you back and they're going to let you know whether or not you are going to continue with the application. So this is a lot more scrutinizing than we saw with CTW. Like I said, it varies depending on the type of supplier. Each supplier might have something different from what they require from you, what type of information, and what they're going to have you fill out. Next, let's talk about product research. So you can do this manually in the back end of Amazon by the title or the UPC code. So as we saw with CTW, you have the UPC code. You can search up every single UPC code on Amazon and try and find the listing. And then from there, you would just look at the sales rank. You would look at how many sellers. You would look at the reviews, and you're just going to do simple product research on a listing. We're not going too in depth, and that's because we're drop shipping. So we don't really care how many sellers are on it. It doesn't matter if there are 2 or 10 sellers. Because we are drop shipping, we're not buying inventory up front. So you can also search on Amazon and check the items that seem to sell well. I recommend using software, and we're going to be utilizing all the software that we've talked about up until this point. So we're going to be using Jungle Scout, we're going to be using Keepa, we're going to be using Zen, and these are all tools to help you determine if an item is actually a good seller. Again, the links for those are down below. The next option is to use what's called a price sheet scanner. I personally use one called Scan Unlimited to scan every item and quickly find profitable items. So what this does is, usually when you're working with a supplier, they're going to give you what's called a price list or a catalog. And in that catalog is going to be a list of all the items that they carry. So we can take that list, upload it to the software like Scan Unlimited, and then Scan Unlimited can find all the items on Amazon and quickly tell us which ones are profitable. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. For this example, we're going to be taking a look again at CTW. When you get an account with CTW, you're going to be able to access what's called a price list. If you go to your account and then you click into your price list, it's going to be a complete list of all the items that CTW currently has. From here, we can access the UPC code, the item identifier, as well as the cost for the item. So when we're in the list, we can begin our manual research. There are two ways to do this. You can start by going on CTW and then just taking a UPC code. So let's say I wanted this, and then we got to go ahead and just see our cost. Our cost is $9.02. We can go to Amazon and we can paste in the UPC code. And from there, it's going to pull up the item. We're going to be using our software to see all of the data. So first, we're just going to be using DS Amazon Quick View. It tells us there's one FBA seller, and this item has a sales rank of 2 million. So that's not a great sales rank. Personally, I would avoid it, but let's just go into it for the video's sake. And I would go into it. Now, I already have Zen pulled up, and Zen is going to load. And once that loads, it's going to go ahead and it's going to be a calculator. So we have FBM, which is what we are. So we're going to go ahead and let's say our cost was $9. And then if we add shipping, our cost would be $15. So if we add that, we see our profit would be $2 and our margin is only 10%. So personally, that's too small for me. But if you wanted to go ahead and list it, what you could do is you can add this item to another spreadsheet, or if you wanted to list it right away, you can click right here, sell on Amazon. This is going to open the item up in the back end of your account, and you can quickly list this item in your account. The other way to do this is you can actually go ahead and take a look at other sellers. So let's say we wanted to take a look at which sellers are selling this item. And the third way is we can just go and do our old trick of searching up the brand. So let's say we search up CTW Home Collection. This is going to give us a list of a lot of products that this brand is selling. So now we can actually do the reverse of this, and we can just go ahead and we can find the items on Amazon first. So let's say we have this item right here. This item has a sales rank of 417,000, and we want to go ahead and we want to find our cost for this item. It has a decent sales rank. It's not that great, but it's not terrible. It only has 4 offers. And let's say we wanted to list on it. We need to find the SKU. So if you scroll down, there should be a SKU. So we see right here the item model number. We're going to copy that and we're going to go back to CTW. And again, this is going to be different for every supplier, but usually a supplier will have the list either on their website or they're going to have a downloadable Excel file. So you would just be searching this up in Excel, and it's going to be different depending on how your supplier does it. But for this example, since I'm already on the supplier's website, I'm going to be searching it here. CTW does allow you to download it, so you can work in Excel or in Google Sheets if you wanted to. And we see for this item, our cost would be $102.50. Let's say for an example, our shipping would be $15. So we're looking at $117.50. We're going to go back to the item. We're going to enter in our cost into the calculator. So FBM, let's say it was, we'll even make it $120 for this example. If our cost is $120. So for this product, we have a margin of 14%. That is right around my threshold. I like to keep my lowest item at 15%. So I would make an exception for this. Usually I like to go ahead and I like to only list quality products. I don't like to have a catalog full of 50,000 products. So this item right now is fine. It doesn't get a lot of sales. I think we looked at this item before. Yeah, so this item usually only gets like 8 sales every 3 months. So I'm fine with that personally. As long as I can make a sale every single month, I'm going to build up my catalog with more items. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click sell on Amazon, and then this will allow me to list an item on Amazon. So I would just repeat this process and you would go back and forth trying to match up the products. This is a very time intensive process. That's why it's usually better to just go ahead and use the UPC code. However, with the manual product research, you can go ahead and you can find listings on Amazon. So Amazon is actually going to recommend you items. Here we see that this item is frequently bought with this. Let's take a look at this item. And we see that this item is a CTW item. So now we have another item that this item is bought with. If we were to go ahead and list both of these, perhaps we can get a lot more sales with these two items together. Also, take a look at the sponsored products, take a look at the related products, take a look at some of these suggested products. Check all of the listings underneath and see if you see any items that say CTW. A lot of times you can find listings that other sellers have created, or maybe that are just not using the same UPC code. So this way, it's a great method to go ahead and find listings that you otherwise would not be able to find. And that's why I love manual research. In addition to manual research, we also have software research. So software research is great because it speeds up the process. Here, I have used a software called Scan Unlimited. And as you'll see, it scanned 2,025 items. That's how many items were inside of the file for CTW. And what it does is it allows me to go ahead and see the data and sort through it very quickly. So right here, I can go ahead and I can set my parameters for my net profit and my ROI, and it's only going to show me listings that meet those criteria. So let's go ahead and take a look at the net profit. I want to make sure that all of the listings that I want to sell have a net profit greater than or equal to, and we can start at $3. We can add it, and then we have our ROI. Let's say I want to make sure the ROI is greater than or equal to, and we can say 15%. So that's not a profit margin, it's just an ROI, but I'm still going to add it. And then we can apply the filters. And now all the products that we're looking at have been sorted to meet those criteria. So now instead of 2,000 products, we have 509. All of these products meet those criteria. We can even niche down further than this. So let's say I wanted to go ahead and sort the sales rank, and I want to say I want products that are less than or equal to, and we can put it at 500,000. So these products are going to sell pretty decent. So we're going to add that. We're going to apply the filter, and now it's going to sort the products even more. So we're down to 326 items. So I have 326 items that now meet my criteria. What I can do now is I can go ahead and I can only list these items. Additionally, you can also access a lot of the data within Scan Unlimited. So now I have 326 filtered listings to look through. So if I click on this, it's going to bring up more product data. I can take a look at the Keepa chart. I can take a look at a lot of the other offers on the listing, as well as there's also a calculator. So I can access that same information from within Scan Unlimited. I can also go ahead and take a look at the item on Amazon. If I click this, it's going to pull it up. So here I've niched down all of my product research, and I'm going to combine the software with the manual. So I can go ahead and quickly see the ones that I filtered through. And now I can begin the process of looking at the item on Amazon. So this item has already met my profit and my ROI, as well as my sales rank criteria. From here, I can just go ahead and I can take a look at the estimated monthly sales. I can take a look at the sellers. I can take a look at Keepa and just see what the metrics are telling me, etc., etc. And that is how I do product research to find the best listings. Once I found a listing, I then go ahead and I list it, or first I'll add it to my list to list it in the future. So let's say this product looks good. I just want to add it to my list. And once I have about 10 to 20 listings, or even once I've gone through an entire supplier, I will then add it to my list. And then after I've gone through that supplier, I'll then focus on listing their products. After you click sell on Amazon, it's going to open up the listing page. From here, you can go ahead and create your offer. You can add a SKU. So what I want to do is I want to add the supplier SKU, whatever it is, I'm going to paste it here. Then you can add the quantity. So I can add 5, and then I would add the price. So if you wanted to match the lowest priced for the buy box, you can add that here. And then your condition. So you would put the item in new, and then you want to click advanced view. And from there, you can do a lot of stuff. So first you can edit your handling time. So if you want to add more time because your supplier is going to ship out in a specific time, you can add that here. So let's say my supplier takes 3 days. I can make that 3. And let's say I want to limit the number that a customer can order. I can also do that here. So you can do a lot of stuff here, but let's say for this, it's fine. After this, I'm just going to make sure that everything is great and make sure that you fill in everything. So make sure you have your price. And then from there, you would just click save and finish. And then your product would be listed, or your offer would be created on that listing on Amazon. So there are three main ways to list a product. The first is the one that we just covered. The other is that you can do it through bulk updates. I'm going to have a dedicated video for that coming out in the future. And the other way is that you can use software. So I use a software called SellerChamp. It connects to my suppliers, and then I can list on Amazon through the software. So I have a video that is already dedicated to that. I'm going to leave that linked in the description down below. To finish up this video, we're just going to be talking about FBA, returns, placing orders, and payments. So to start out, what is FBA? We've already discussed it a bit. That stands for Fulfillment by Amazon. This is a popular business model where you go ahead, you send in your products to Amazon, and then they will handle the fulfillment. They'll store your products and they'll ship it out to your customers. This is a really good opportunity, especially if you are able to go ahead and send in your inventory to Amazon. Obviously with drop shipping, we are going to be using our suppliers' fulfillment. However, because we are sourcing from wholesale suppliers, we have the unique opportunity to also utilize FBA if we had a product that we wanted to buy in bulk and we can get our supplier to ship it to Amazon. I will be creating a dedicated video for FBA, just as this was for drop shipping. I'm going to have a separate video talking about FBA and wholesale, the basics. So all wholesale suppliers will sell in bulk. It's a matter of who they sell to though. Not all wholesale suppliers will let you sell on Amazon, but all of them do sell in bulk. It's just a matter of finding the ones that you can work with. Some suppliers are e-com friendly and will send your orders straight to Amazon. I have a lot of suppliers that if you ask them to go ahead and send to Amazon, they will gladly send your products to Amazon. They will label it, so they will put the FN SKU labels or the Amazon labels on it. And also they'll make sure that the items are prepped and everything. Sometimes they'll do it for free. Sometimes they might have a certain fee that you need to pay. Otherwise, everything is great and they'll just send your products to Amazon for you. Some suppliers are not as easy to work with. They will not send your products to Amazon. They do not want to label, nor do they want to prep. So in that instance, you might need to use a prep service. You might need to be able to send it to Amazon and then Amazon can label your products, or you might need to send them to yourself. So there are a lot of different workarounds. There are a lot of different ways of doing it. So I'm going to go over all of that in my specific video about FBA. For product research, when it comes to Amazon FBA, I use all the tools and software previously mentioned, except I look more at the data. I look more into the profit. I look more at the number of sellers. Everything just has to make sense because you're spending money upfront, unlike drop shipping where you're not. When it comes to ordering for drop shipping, you're going to either be placing orders directly through your supplier's website. So as we saw with CTW, on their website, you can add products to your cart and then you can check out and you can specify the ship to address so it ships to your customer. Another way is you can send orders directly through email. So there are several ways to set this up. Either you can do this manually where you just email every single purchase order, or you can go ahead and just create one bulk email with all of your orders, or you can use a software. So again, I use SellerChamp. There are a bunch of other softwares out there. If you want to know how to create your own, you can also do that. And you can just set it up whenever you get an order from your marketplace or on Amazon or Walmart. It automatically sends a purchase order via email to your supplier, and your supplier can pick that information up and then can just send you a tracking number. The third way is you can send orders in an Excel file or CSV. So again, you can either do this manually or automated. So if you were to do this manually, you could just enter all of your orders into a CSV file, either in Excel or in Google Sheets. You would ask your supplier what information, what headers they need. You'd put all the information into that file, then send it to your supplier. Or you can do this automated with a software. So if you use a software to automate your orders, it would just take all of the data and it can either send the orders to the supplier, it can create a file and then just email it. There are a lot of different ways that you can do it. I'm going to have a dedicated video on that in the future. When listing an item, this is touching back on what we discussed before. It's really important that you use your supplier's SKU, because if you're using software, then it needs the SKU in order to send that information to the supplier. So if you're using your own SKU and then it sends that information to the supplier, your supplier is going to have no clue what item you are talking about. So you need to make sure that you are using your supplier's SKU, because it's a great way to make sure that both sides are reconciled. For payments to a supplier, you can almost always use Visa and MasterCard. Not all suppliers will take Amex or Discover. Some do, some don't. You can use a debit card. Be sure to ask your supplier if they will allow you to use a debit card. Also ask them about fees. Some of them might have an additional fee if you're using a debit card, so make sure you ask them about that. I use credit cards because it's just a great way to get purchase protection, as well as it's also a great way to go ahead and get percentage back and get rewards. So if you use a business credit card or even a personal one, it's just also a great way for keeping everything nice and tidy on all of your records. So I have all of my transactions on one card. So it's just really easy for me at the end of every month to go and see all of my transactions and see what I was billed. Also, like I said, I can build up points. This can lead to flights, and it's just also another way to get additional profit. Most suppliers offer what is called credit terms. This means that you can pay after a certain amount of days. So for example, they will have net 15, net 60, or net 90, or net 30. So if it's a net 15, you will purchase the item and then you'll have 15 days to pay for that item. It's just an additional way that you can also go ahead and try and set up those terms with your suppliers. In order to get a net terms account, you will usually need to go through an application process. So they might ask for a DUNS number, as well as they might also ask for some references, just so they can make sure that you have experience and history of paying everything on time. Lastly, let's talk about account health. Account health is really important when it comes to drop shipping, especially when selling on Amazon. Your account health is everything on Amazon. Metrics are a big factor. You need to put the correct shipping and handling times on all of your items. We talked about the handling times, and I have a separate video on how to set up your shipping templates. Ship your orders out within a timely manner, really important. Respond to all customer messages within 24 hours. Amazon disperses payments roughly every 2 weeks, but they can take longer initially, especially if you just started, as well as also if your account gets suspended or if there's something wrong, Amazon can withhold payments for a certain amount of time. Check your metrics and your reviews daily. It's a really important habit to build up. Lastly, look at your buy box eligibility. Always make sure that you are able to get the buy box and that your business is running smoothly. If it's not, then you need to make changes quickly. Second to last, let's talk about returns. So returns are going to be different for each supplier. Just make sure that when you're signing up with a supplier, you understand how returns work for them. First, when you set up your Amazon account and you have a supplier, exempt your listings from automatic returns. I have another video that shows how to do this. It will be linked down below. When you receive a return, you must respond quickly. So what you want to do is, now that you are exempt from automatic returns, you're going to get a supplier. And then from your supplier, you're going to make sure that you communicate with them about the return. You're going to tell them about the return. They're going to send you a label. With the label, you're then going to upload it to Amazon. You're also going to upload the tracking number. And then from there, you are going to send it to your customer. Your customer is going to send the item back to the supplier. However, the supplier is going to refund you. How everything works out, you're going to take care of that. And then you're going to refund the customer on Amazon. So that's how it works in a nutshell. I will have another video coming out in the future about how to go ahead and deal with returns when drop shipping on Amazon's. More or less, sometimes you can make sure that you don't lose any money. A lot of times you might be taking a small loss. That is part of the price of business when drop shipping on Amazon, unfortunately. The last subject we're going to be talking about in this video is going to be outsourcing. Outsourcing is really powerful for any business, especially for drop shipping. So because we are drop shipping, we don't have any inventory. We can work with employees who are not with us, and we can work with employees who are in another country and even halfway around the world, especially for my business. So virtual assistants or VAs can be a great way to expand and grow your business. I use virtual assistants in my business to outsource tasks that take up time, allowing me to focus on growing my business rather than doing monotonous tasks. So placing orders, dealing with customer service. These are all things that you can hire out and have other people do, so you can focus on getting more suppliers, looking different sales channels to list your products. All these high-level decisions that are really going to grow your business rather than just the day-to-day stuff that you just need to get done. So this is why I hire VAs, or you can hire physical employees if that's something that you want to look into. I hire my VAs from online jobs. Both of my VAs were hired from online jobs. I also hired another VA from Upwork. And then I've also used FreeUp before. Currently, I don't have any VAs from there. You can look into Fiverr or some of the other sources, but I have not had that much luck. So these are the three that I use. The links for these will also be down below. So that is it. That is a complete video on how to get started with dropshipping and how to run a dropshipping business on Amazon in 2021. I appreciate everyone who stuck through and watched all this. I know it was an extremely long video. It was also really long to film. So if you did enjoy the video, be sure to go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, be sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I make videos like this every single week that are going to be talking about online arbitrage, online retail, drop shipping, wholesale, everything e-commerce, and just how to build and grow your business and how to build an online income for yourself. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.